Hi everybody, this is my final presentation. My name is Michael Voce, and let's just jump right into it. So in summary, sea turtles are a keystone species, and they're very important in many different ecosystems, especially coastal and ocean ecosystems. There's hardly any protections to guarantee that their nesting grounds are untouched, and it's important to make sure that their life cycle is protected from the egg onwards. And sea turtles also provide economic, cultural, and conservatory benefits to societies, and their importance goes beyond any individual field and service and all that. But it's also important to take protective action with sea turtles because of their ecosystem services, and they're important for raising public awareness of the current plights facing the oceans due to climate change. So, sea turtle ecological roles. Okay, sea turtle and their ecological roles. Sea turtles require governmental policy protection due to their biological and ecological importance to ocean and land ecosystems. The sea turtles play a very important role in ecosystems as both predator and prey, and hence why they're considered a keystone species. Sea turtles play an important role in the trophic pyramid, affecting decomposers and vegetation in coastal ecosystems, along with big predators such as jaguars and many other species. And they also maintain jellyfish and adult fish populations and increase biodiversity in seagrass and coral reef ecosystems. Sea turtles act as primary and secondary consumers and have important effects on decomposers, primary producers, and tertiary consumers. Decomposers that inhabit the beaches where sea turtles lay their eggs provide a valuable ecosystem service by breaking down the hatched eggs, which also provide energy for the entire trophic pyramid of the ecosystem from that point. Sea turtle nests are important for coastal vegetation, which provide protection to beaches from waves and wind by stabilizing the surrounding sand. The sea turtles lay their eggs on the beach, and when the eggs hatch, their leftovers provide nutrients for both decomposers and the vegetation on the beach, which in turn provides protection for the nests on the beach and ensures that the eggs hatch, which perpetuates the whole system and maintains a balanced biodiversity. Sea turtles also feed on seagrass and prevent competitive exclusion of faster growing seagrass species, increasing the biodiversity of their ecosystems. And sea turtles also crop the grass in such a way that they can continue to grow and reproduce. They don't harm the roots of the grass. Leatherbacks and jellyfish populations are another important ecosystem role. Jellyfish eat larval fish, and leatherback sea turtles eat the jellyfish, which helps maintain homeostasis within these populations. The surviving larval fish grow into adult fish, which are taken by the commercial fishers. But if leatherback sea turtles are also taken as a bycatch by the fishers, the jellyfish populations will skyrocket. And if jellyfish populations skyrocket, then fish populations plummet. And this hurts the fishing industry in tons of ways. They complete prevention of fishing operations. They clog and burst nets. There's reduced fish catches, painful stings to fishermen, and the large ecological and financial problems caused by jellyfish blooms can be avoided if we enhance the protections of leatherbacks. Hawksbills are also important for ecosystems because their feeding habits contribute to biodiversity in coral reef ecosystems. By keeping aggressive sponge populations at bay, corals that aren't as aggressive have space to grow and contribute to the ecosystem as a result of hawksbills' feeding patterns. And different species of corals alongside sponges provide different habitats and food for other species, creating an array of biodiversity that fuels the growth and stability of ecosystems, hence why hawksbills are important for coral reefs. And epibionts are the little organisms that attach themselves to other mobile animals, and sea turtles are the perfect habitat for them. And it's estimated that sea turtles have the most abundant and diverse community of epibionts out of all large marine animals, and these sea turtles provide shelter and protection to the epibionts, and sometimes even food. Essentially, epibionts use sea turtles as a mobile home, and they travel with them. And then on the land, sea turtles are preyed upon as eggs by rodents, ants, and other larger mammals, and this decreases the number of eggs that will hatch, but it also sustains populations with a predictable source of nutrients. Sea turtles can be the prey of tertiary species, including tiger sharks, seals, fish, orcas, armadillos, but especially jaguars. Jaguars in Costa Rica regularly feed upon olive ridley sea turtles while they lay their eggs, and sometimes even dragging the turtles hundreds of feet from the safety of the beaches. And sometimes we even found sharing, which is interesting too. Sea turtles and people. Tourism is definitely the largest non-consumptive use of sea turtles, and non-consumptive uses of sea turtles generally are more lucrative. They have a higher generation of revenue. They have a greater economic multiplying effects. They have greater potential for economic growth. It creates more support for management, and it generates proportionately more jobs, social development, and employment opportunities for women than consumptive use does. So sea turtles can bring in thousands or even millions of dollars into tourism communities, from $41,000 to $6.7 million a year, with an average of about $1.6 million per year at sites where non-consumptive marine turtle use is a major revenue generator. Sea turtle tourism can have very large positive impacts on communities. For example, between 1995 and 1998, 69 developing countries So tourism revenues were one of the 5 largest sources of foreign currency between 1995 and 1998 in 69 different developing countries, and it creates economic incentives for stakeholders to stop the overexploitation of turtles, which helps encourage the distribution of travelers' resources to places that are still developing through tourism. Furthermore, the absence of sea turtles is also a very costly consequence to our behavior and climate change and all of that. So their ecosystem services can be quantifiably valued at an estimated $19,000 a year in 1994, or $3.8 trillion a year globally, mainly because of the nutrient cycling services provided. A failure to reverse population decline would require captive breeding of nesting females, which is estimated to cost $245 to $263 million for green turtles, and $2.5 billion for leatherback turtles, which is much more costly than performing conservation efforts in the wild. And the absence of policies and effort to keep sea turtle populations from declining further would cause catastrophic consequences for ecosystems extending to humans as well. And in fact, 5 of the 7 species of marine turtles, 78 to 91% of countries where they occur are countries with developing economies. So they'll definitely feel the devastating effects of sea turtle population decline and the higher costs of breeding at a greater magnitude than developed countries like the United States will. Cultures have long attributed the importance of sea turtles as a symbol, and they are in many cases a representation of longevity. They have an important role in many mythologies and religions around the world and are commonly found in creation myths. Cultures located in coastal regions wherein sea turtles are known to nest often rely on the maintenance of sea turtle populations, and their way of life would crumble along with the ecosystem services that sea turtles support. And maintaining and preserving the way of life of the community members that cohabit the beaches with sea turtles is a crucial component that must be weighed into conserving and protecting them. A bottom-up approach that addresses the needs of community members is crucial for respecting the ecosystems that support both sea turtles and a human way of life. So in the case study, for the Ostiono case study, when the number of nests per arribada was low, the people of Ostiono were much more likely to harvest a large percentage of the total number of nests per arribada. And for example, in June 2008, it says 100% of the turtle nests were harvested by local community members, despite the fact that the number of nests were extremely low, because the community still needed to fulfill their needs. So I propose, or I recommend, that since the community members of Osceola are reliant on harvesting eggs, community members and researchers / conservators should work closely with those who create policies that protect both sea turtles and the people who rely on them. I think that introducing limits on harvesting that are fair for both the sea turtles and their populations and the community members is one solution. I think that if the limits don't put unfair pressure on either people or sea turtles, that can be an effective way to appease everybody. I think enforcing a total allowable catch can be an effective way to satisfy the needs of sea turtles and communities by reducing the magnitude of the impact per avirata. And then also hatcheries could be employed to ensure that eggs can hatch and that they're not being harvested or decimated by any local community members if a certain year has fewer nests than normal. All right, thank you for watching. That was my presentation.